Have you ever wondered if you should start preparing for emergencies but aren't sure if it's necessary? In our ever-changing world, the need for preparedness becomes more apparent each day, from the unexpected hurdles of daily life to global events that ripple across continents. The signs are clear. We're living in a time where the unexpected is becoming the expected. The importance of recognizing signs of danger cannot be overstated. It's not about being paranoid, but about being proactive. It's about understanding that the world can change in an instant, and those changes can have significant impacts on our lives. Being unprepared can lead to severe consequences. In today's world, we need to be ready for anything, from natural disasters to economic instability. It's all about ensuring your safety and the safety of those you care about. So, if you see in your daily lives any of these 5 indicators, I would start prepping immediately. One of the first signs you need to start prepping is an increase in natural disasters. In recent years, we've seen a significant rise in natural disasters, both globally and locally. From devastating hurricanes lashing coastal cities to raging wildfires consuming vast stretches of woodland, the wrath of Mother Nature is becoming increasingly apparent. Floods are submerging towns and earthquakes are shaking cities to their core. These are not isolated instances. Rather, they form part of a disturbing upward trend. Consider this. According to the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, the last 2 decades have witnessed a surge in climate-related disasters. From the late 1990s to the late 2010s, such disasters doubled, affecting billions of people worldwide. Now that's a number we can't ignore. And it's not just about the sheer frequency. The intensity of these disasters has also amplified, causing catastrophic damage to life, property, and infrastructure. When disaster strikes, the unprepared are hit hardest. Without food, water, or shelter, survival becomes a grim battle against the elements. Power outages can last for days, even weeks, and emergency services are often overwhelmed, unable to reach everyone in need promptly. The impact of such disasters on communities is profound and long-lasting. Take Hurricane Katrina, for instance. 15 years later, some regions of New Orleans are still struggling to recover, or consider the wildfires that ravaged Australia in 2019 and 2020. The environmental and economic repercussions of such catastrophic events are felt for years, if not decades. Preparation can make the difference between despair and resilience in the face of such adversity. Having a well-thought-out plan, a stockpile of essential supplies, and the knowledge to navigate through the aftermath of a disaster can significantly improve your chances of survival. Natural disasters are unpredictable, and their frequency seems to be increasing, making preparedness more crucial than ever. Don't wait for the storm to hit before you start to prepare. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, the best time to start prepping was yesterday. The second best time is now. Economic instability is another sign that it's time to start prepping. Let's delve into how economic fluctuations can shake the very foundations of our everyday life. Economic stability, or rather instability, can impact everything from the price of bread and milk at your local store to the availability of vital resources like fuel and medications. It's the invisible thread that connects us all. When the economy is strong, life hums along. When it's weak, we feel the pinch. One of the many reasons economic instability can be concerning is its ability to affect access to necessary supplies and services. Imagine for a moment a scenario where a sudden surge in inflation makes everyday necessities unaffordable for the average family. Or perhaps a banking crisis restricts access to your hard-earned savings. In times of economic hardship, having a stockpile of essential items can be a real lifesaver. And then, there's the elephant in the room, election years. These periods are often fraught with uncertainty and can lead to significant economic fluctuations. Candidates might promise sweeping changes to fiscal policy or radical shifts in spending, causing market volatility. This uncertainty can lead to businesses tightening their belts, resulting in layoffs or reduced hours. It can also cause consumers to hold off on major purchases, which can further slow the economy. Economic preparedness is not just about having a stash of cash under the mattress. It's about diversifying your assets, understanding the basics of personal finance, and being prepared to live frugally if necessary. It's about ensuring you have supplies to weather a period of economic downturn, from canned goods and bottled water to necessary medications and other essentials. Economic instability can hit unexpectedly, making it vital to be prepared for any situation. It's not about living in fear of the next financial crisis, but rather about being ready to face it head-on. After all, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And that starts with being prepared. Global political tensions are a clear sign that it's time to start prepping. Now you might be wondering, how do international conflicts affect me, especially if I'm thousands of miles away from the epicenter? Well, the world we live in is interconnected in ways that were unimaginable just a few decades ago. Let's consider a hypothetical scenario. Two nations are at odds over territorial disputes. The tension escalates, and they decide to flex their military muscles. Now, this conflict might seem distant, but remember, these nations are part of a global network. They have allies and enemies, trade partners and rivals. So, a conflict between two nations can quickly involve others, leading to a domino effect. These nations might impose sanctions, restrict trade, or even engage in cyber warfare. The global economy could take a hit, affecting everything from the stock market to the price of goods in your local supermarket. In a worst-case scenario, conflicts can even escalate to physical warfare, leading to a global crisis. This could potentially lead to disruptions in the supply chain, making it difficult to access everyday commodities. In such situations, having a well-stocked pantry and essential supplies can make all the difference. But it's not just about physical resources. Global tensions can also impact our digital lives. Cybersecurity threats are on the rise, with nations often using them as a weapon. In such a situation, having a plan to protect your digital assets becomes equally important. And remember, political tensions aren't always about warfare, they can also lead to policy changes. For instance, a change in immigration laws might affect you if you're an expat or have family living abroad. Having a plan in place for such scenarios can provide a safety net. The key takeaway here is that international conflicts can have a ripple effect, impacting us in ways we might not immediately realize. Being aware of these potential repercussions and preparing for them can help you navigate through these uncertain times with relative ease. With political tensions high, it's wise to be prepared for any eventuality. An increase in local crime, particularly related to home invasions or burglaries, is a signal to enhance home security and personal safety measures. Now, this is a touchy subject for some, but it's a reality we can't ignore. When crime rates start to rise in your neighborhood, your city, or even your country, it's a sign of underlying issues that could potentially spiral out of control. Let's break it down. The reasons for a surge in crime can be vast and varied, from economic hardship and unemployment to social unrest and political instability. But whatever the root cause, the end result is the same. Your personal safety and the safety of your loved ones can be at risk. Here's where preparedness comes into play. It's not about living in fear or assuming the worst about people. It's about acknowledging the reality and taking proactive steps to protect yourself and your family. This could mean installing a home security system or learning self-defense techniques. It could also mean creating a safety plan with your family, so everyone knows what to do in case of an emergency. Also, it's wise to consider what increased crime rates might mean for your access to essential goods and services. If things were to escalate, could you still get to the grocery store? Would there be food on the shelves when you got there? These are the kinds of questions that preppers ask themselves, and they're the kinds of questions that can help you see the importance of storing essential supplies at home. To sum it up, an increase in local crime rates isn't just about the immediate threat to your personal safety. It's also a sign of potential instability in your community, which could impact everything from your access to food and medical care to your ability to travel freely. So if you're seeing a rise in crime where you live, don't brush it off. It's a clear signal that it's time to start thinking about what you can do to prepare and protect yourself and the people you care about. Your safety and the safety of your loved ones is paramount, and an increase in local crime is a clear sign that it's time to start prepping. The onset of health issues within a family can necessitate having essential supplies and preparations in place. Now, let's talk about something that's close to home: personal or family health issues. These are often overlooked when we think of emergency preparedness, aren't they? But they shouldn't be. A sudden illness or an unexpected health crisis can be as destabilizing as any natural disaster or economic downturn. Imagine a loved one needs immediate medical attention, but the roads are blocked due to a storm, or perhaps the local medical centers are overwhelmed in the aftermath of a disaster. What would you do? If you had prepared for this, you'd have the necessary medical supplies at hand. You'd be able to provide immediate first aid or even manage chronic conditions until professional help is available. Being prepared for health emergencies is not just about stocking up on bandages and antiseptics. It's about understanding the health needs of your family. Do you have family members with chronic conditions like diabetes or asthma? Then you need to ensure you have an adequate supply of necessary medications. Is there someone in your home who is physically challenged? You need to plan for their unique needs in case of an emergency evacuation. And let's not forget, emotional well-being is as important as physical health. Emergencies and disasters can lead to stress and anxiety, and it's important to have a plan to manage these situations. This could mean having comfort items on hand or learning stress management techniques. In essence, prepping for health issues involves being aware of your family's health needs, having the necessary medical supplies, medications, and special equipment on hand, and planning for the emotional well-being of your family members. This is not about becoming a medical expert overnight. It's about taking small, consistent steps towards ensuring that you can handle health emergencies when they arise. Remember, your family's health is a precious asset, and being prepared to protect it is one of the most important things you can do. Health emergencies can happen at any time, making it vital to be prepared. Recognizing these signs isn't about fear-mongering. It's about empowering yourself to take control of your safety and well-being in uncertain times. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered today. We've discussed the increasing frequency of natural disasters and how they should prompt us to prepare. We've highlighted economic fluctuations and their potential to disrupt our access to vital supplies and services. We've pointed out how global political tensions can impact our domestic stability. We've shown how a rise in local crime can signal a need to bolster our home security. Lastly, we've talked about how personal or family health issues can necessitate having essential supplies and preparations in place. These are not mere hypotheticals, but real-world indicators that should compel us to act. Ignoring them is not an option. If you see these signs in your life, it's time to start prepping. Like, subscribe, and share this video to help others get started on their prepping journey. Comment below with any signs you've noticed or tips for beginner preppers.